How we doing? So that was me. I gave that little speech and something I wrote literally almost 3 years ago. And it's just going to be a section or part of my book, but I I want to explain some things because I don't know if I'll get a chance. You never know. TikTok might boot me here soon. I tried to do this with the series, but I don't want to. I don't expect people to pay money to go or pay even a subscription. It's kind of cheesy. It's because TikTok's trying to make up for screwing me so long. They're probably trying to give me opportunities, but it didn't work. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell it. So I'm writing a book. I haven't really officially started, but I got the resources to know how to do it. But I want to just give a rundown a little bit. So I've had so many tragedies come through my life, and this is in no big order, but I mean, it all started off when I was a kid. I mean, little, like I was flag football little, like 9, 8, 9, whatever. But so first thing to start off is I was pretty much told it. I was born on the freaking biggest snowfall in history so far. Something like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but it was in 71, right? And I was basically like an only child, man. 3 sisters, 14, 9, and 16, 14, and 9 years older than me. So I was technically kind of an only child. But I had the one sister at home. Kind of funny because she couldn't stand me. But when my parents fought, kinds of fucking shit happened, plates thrown, everything else be crazy. So I would go to her room if she was home and she would kind of console me. But other than that, she didn't want to do with me. And then she even got stuck babysitting me, so she was torturing me all the time. She actually took me to a movie called they remade it called When a Stranger Calls. And I had nightmares for so long. I'm not even kidding you. I sat next to this big old dude, like big hairy motherfucker. She was 17. But what was I, 8? And her and her friend took me to our movie, the haunted, scary movie. Think about that movie. They remade it, When a Stranger Calls. Anybody that's my age probably remembers it back then. I remember the dude cop calls and he goes, "We've located the suspect. He's in the house." And then they show a shadow upstairs. I was like, fuck, I'm scared to death. So anyway, so yeah, man, I was tortured. My sister had keggers. I'd play quarters with them. I'd had drink pop though. And I was a pain in her ass. Anyway, so moving on. She went off to college, went to Iowa. So I had to deal with the whole parents by myself. And sorry, Mom, but I got to rat you out. But my mom straight left me at fucking flag football practice. Like forgot about me. They were at the bar. You think your kids? I was like in the dark, and back then, really it wasn't that far away from when kidnapping started. But I remember having to flag some dude down because back then the coach didn't wait around. The coach didn't wait around for you to for your parents to show up. And next thing you know, it's dark, and nobody's there except me. I'm like 8, 9, and some stranger see me, and I got in the car with him, and he took me to a payphone. That's so scary to think about, right? And I called my sister, and she came and got me. And because my sister was married, my older sister was married at that time. My mom did that. From that day on, she would deny it every single time I bring it up. But you couldn't do that today. No parent would be that, they wouldn't think about it. But back then they didn't care. Nobody worried about that shit. And but yeah, that was fun. So then I started going to the YMCA every day after school. I started probably doing it in 6th grade, but 7th grade. And I remember just fucking around, 11, 12 years old, running around that place for something to do, playing basketball when we could. And we would always get kicked out of playing with the old guys. Obviously, I know why, because we're young. But they would play volleyball on the other side. And all those adults, it was men and women, they would let us play with them. So they'd start to bite in the gym, big old wooden door, it's on a chain, runs by a motor, turn the key on, it moves, old gymnasiums. And this door would just boom. It was in panels, kind of slow as fuck. Well, me and my best friend, and a couple of the guys were sitting there, and we're going to go over to the other side and play volleyball. Well, the two guys in front of me, the one dude guys went, and we're like, the doors get close, and I'm like, go, 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 because if not, we'd have got around. And I kept saying, go, 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 and I'm like right behind him, like ready to go. And my best friend's right behind me, and he finally went, and man, my mind was already made up, and I went too. Well, that was a dumb thing to do. So he went, and I tried to jump through, and that door caught me. Straight up caught me. And I just remember hearing my head popping, and blood's shooting out of my fucking mouth. I smile because I can't. I mean, sometimes I get emotional, so it's a good thing I'm smiling. All I know is, next thing I know, I wake up on the gym floor. I'm fucking don't know where I'm at. My ears are ringing. I see in double. People are talking to me. I can feel the pool of blood around me. I mean, literally could feel all the blood. It was like a ton of it. And I, next thing you know, I'm in the ambulance. I remember even the wheel. I can picture it in my face, wheeling me out to the ambulance. Then I'm in the ambulance, and my head's fucking pounding, as you can imagine. I'm 12 at this time. My mom's bawling in the ambulance, and I'm like, Mom, I'm fine. I just got a headache. I see it now. That's the time I get emotional when I think about that, because now that I have my own kid, what was going through my mom's mind had to be just crazy. She didn't know if I was going to live or die, right? So they get me in the hospital. I mean, obviously I'm out of it, but I'm seeing double at this time. And the reason I'm seeing double is because my eyeball went in. It squeezed me so hard, made my eyeball crossed. So I'm laying there on that table, and they're working on me. They're cutting my clothes off me and shit. And I'm trying to go to sleep, and they're like, "Stay with us. You can't go to sleep. Stay with us. Please just let me go to sleep." And I'm sure I kind of feel like I saw the light, man, but it might have been the light in the damn room. But I thought I was a goner, because all I wanted to do was go to sleep. And I was in that intensive care for 3 days, clinging kind of. Well, at least the first day or two, I was kind of clinging to life, because it was such a major head injury. And that was why they didn't want me to go to sleep, because a lot of times with those head injuries, you may not come back. And they didn't want me going into a coma or something, right? So all I know is I was being checked out by so many doctors. I had an ears, nose, and throat doctor, because my ear got tore off, and my eardrum and my bones got blown out, and it was in my left ear though. But I had severe skull fractures. They had a brain doctor, brain surgeon there too. They didn't know if they were going to have to do surgery on my head or what. And they never had to, but I had 3-year surgeries, and I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. And I remember fucking hated it. Like, I was so sick of eating that food and shit. And then it was a pretty serious deal. I made the front page of the Des Moines Register, or my local paper. 12-year-old Des Moines boy. 12-year-old Des Moines boy injured in YMCA accident. This would be it. I don't know if you can see that. It's a full out, and there's a full article of it. Goes to another half of it, but that was just kind of the start of it. And then I went on to, back to 7th grade. The funny part about this was, is I had a few people come to my school and talk to me. And so a couple of girls came up to the hospital, and I got asked to the sweetheart dance. I had never even got into girls yet. I was still playing with friends. And so it's kind of weird. I'm all got a patch on my eye, looking all messed up. I got asked to the dance. So I finally got out of the hospital 3 weeks later, and that was tough. The school was kind of weird, freaked out when I showed up with a patch over my eye, and probably horror stories being told that. So they wouldn't even let me go in the gymnasium. Kids were gawking at me like they didn't know what to fucking do. They thought it was weird, but they didn't say much at first. And then Little League, dude, this is the best part. So I go back to Little League. I'd made the All-Star team when I 12-year-old, right like the summer before I was at the Y. So I started 13-year-olds, and they tried making me wear a hard hat in the field. And everybody's played baseball. It's like I couldn't catch a pop-up. The fucking helmet was blocking me. My parents had to fight to get that removed because it was stupid. I wouldn't have been out of the hospital if I wasn't okay. But everybody was so scared to touch me like I was glass, you know? And then not too soon after that, name calling started coming, quietly, but you could hear it. You always hear all that kind of shit, like smash head, crooked face, and one eye. One eye was the best. That was the famous one. Fucking Popeye. I fucking hated it. I begged my parents not to go to school. Begged them. I was done. I didn't never want to go to school ever again. And of course, cooler heads prevailed, and they made me go. And so that's when they called me Popeye. I'd imitate him. Oh, Allen. I was a lot better at it when I was younger. And then I was making fun of myself because I was fucking funnier than they were. I was more funny than they were. And little by little, it got less and less. And then being funny also made me kind of popular. And then I kind of started to be popular. By 8th grade, man, I was kind of a cool kid. But my best friend was part of it. He was the one that was behind me when I got head crushed, and he missed 2 weeks of school. How much it fucking affected him. But we were still best friends. So 8th grade, we had a lot of fun. 8th grade was probably my best fucking year. I'll be honest with you. Everybody says senior year, my 8th grade year was my best. That was our last year of junior high. We were the kings, man. And starting to get into girls. And we used to throw potatoes and apples and shit at cars when we spent the night at each other's house. It was, if you could get it through the window and hit the person, that's some dumb shit right there. We could have caused some serious. That's like dropping shit over the bridge or something when you're on a highway. But no, we hit one dude with a potato, and that dude come back and was chasing us, and we ended up getting into one of my buddy's house, and we're all down low, and you could see the headlights and shit. It was scary. I'd get beat up by an old dude, but we had a lot of fun. That's the thing. We always had fun doing something. We were never inside. We used to play lob ball. We played lob ball, played wiffle ball. Take one of those in the nuts. But no, wiffle ball was a blast because I'm telling you what, kids don't even know what wiffle ball bat is now, I bet. Play wiffle ball, lob ball, play a little bit of tackle football. Who played sandlot? Who played tackle football? I loved it. I loved those days. Those were some of the best days ever. I mean, can't ever replace those days. But anyway, so yeah, we had a lot of fun. And then I moved on. I played little All-American football, matter of fact, my 8th grade year after a head injury, believe that or not. And I was playing middle linebacker, but I didn't realize how small it was till I got to 9th grade. I don't know how I was playing middle linebacker, little All-American tackle football, but I got to high school, biggest high school, well, second biggest high school in the state. And I didn't play football. I got there with so many, I was tiny. And I wasn't about to go through 2 days and not get a play like that. So I played a little baseball, but I pretty much decided to smoke pot. Yep, that was me. One of the pot smoking jocks. And then I met my newer best friend, but I had a couple of them best friends, but I met him in Little League. He was one of the toughest in the school as a freshman. I was lucky because I got made fun of a lot in high school. Just wisecracked by the older fucking school kids and shit. And I was ready to fight them. I wasn't very tough, wasn't very big, but then they kind of stopped because my friends, they didn't like that either. So I was pretty fortunate to have some tough friends. And girls, man, it was the best thing. There were all kinds of women. Girls liked me, I guess, some of them. And went to some dances, and then I met another one of my good friends. And this is what he told me. He says, dude, man, I first saw you, man, I want to kick your fucking ass. But you're a good dude, man. Well, yeah, I'm a good dude. Why would you think that? You just had this look. So, long story short, I had another tough friend. I was blessed with tough friends in high school. And so, you know how high school goes, man. We partied, drank, partied, got busted with drinking beer, you know, in the parking lots. Always got busted partying somewhere. I even tripped on acid once. In high school, I did it another time, man. High school, that's stupid. I don't even do that. Stupid. That was I didn't like that at all. That may have been the worst thing I'd ever tried. Besides, we'll get into that later. But I just remember going to having a lot of fun, man. Went to like several dances. Oh, that's right. I got my heart broke by I guess you could call my high school sweetheart. I had I don't know if you'll see this, but one of my close friends. I mean, we're still friends. I don't know how loyal he is, but we're friends. I mean, I really don't hold a grudge, but I kind of took his girlfriend only because, and I would never do something like that now, but he was kind of abusive, kind of a control freak, and he was a yell at her all the time and shit. And it just pissed me off. I finally just told him to quit, right? And I got into it with him. And the next thing you know, I don't know if it was good because I stuck up for her or what, but she started liking me, and then she was hot. And I'm like, you don't deserve her. So I fucking took her. So she was like for 2 years. But then she broke up with me, man, at my best friend's kegger, and I fucking cried like a baby. Got my heart broke. And long story short, moved on to high school, or moved on to, I graduated, and I had gotten a little bit of money because of my head injury, my serious head injury. We sued, you know, and you know what it was? I got $42,000 when I turned 18. That's it. And so I would think today's money, I'd have got like $1 million maybe. But why? Or my parents or my lawyers were terrible. So anyway, I got 42 grand. And my dad tried to make me wait till I was 21 to get it because he knew I was going to blow it. He didn't win. And so I did blow it. 42,000 gone in 2 years. But my first car I bought was a 2086 Trans Am Firebird T-tops. Badass car. Except it was a lemon. Yep, they had all kinds of problems. But I was a pretty cool kid for a while there. And then they even had a cop after me telling me, where's Mr. Trans Am? Where's Mr. TA at? He like chased me down all the time. And every time they go to a party, even if I wasn't there, they'd ask for me. They had it out for me. And then finally, I think my parents called and complained or something. He got left me alone for sure. But that's when all the partying started. I really got into some more stuff, man. I ain't gonna lie, some harder drugs, stupid stuff like cocaine, and you know, I never did any of that like meth. I just did cocaine and tripped on acid, and that was some dumb shit there, man. I don't know how many people do that. That's why I say that the Gen X, you guys, we grew up in an era where you literally you either went to the army, drug treatment, or rehab, man, or jail. You know, I mean, that's what it was: sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, I graduated '89, and those party times, man. '80s were so fun, but they were also crazy. The '90s weren't even much better, but you know, at least the hair bands stopped growing their hair so long. But tell me the music wasn't sweet. I mean, '80s and '90s. I mean, '90s were pretty fucking good too, but the '80s were always going to be famous. The hair bands, and I mean, I loved them all. Tesla, Motley Crue, Kiss. I think Kiss was my first album I bought. I thought Gene Simmons was just, he was mystical. Like the guy was crazy. He was like crazy. Now I look at him like he's a punk because he was trying to push the vaccine on us. He was a dick. Don't be an asshole. I don't even remember what he said, but so anyway, enough of that. But yeah, party, 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 man. I don't know. And I bowled. I was trying to go pro bowling. My parents owned a bowling alley before I was born in Webster City in a small town. And I hated it when I first started, but I got forced into it. And next thing you know, I'm thinking I'm doing this, man. I'm going pro. I'm gonna be a pro bowler. Well, I had a knee surgery, um, knee surgery and back surgery, and so why I hear what I'm doing this for is to help my business, but also to get the word out to people, young adults, especially people that don't know how bad it can be, and not to ever give up, basically. And I'm a walking obstacle remover, if you want to call it that. I I've got a TED talk that I might just read that explains my. I wrote a story about my life kind of, and it's funny because I've been wanting to write a book, but my story keeps continuing. You know, it's like I'm not done. So it's almost like I should wait, but who knows? I've got enough for a book now. I just don't want to write a book very well. But eventually, a video of it explaining it mostly now. But I never really felt sorry for myself. Like you know, went through high school. I had a lot of fun. I was lucky. I got I got made fun of, and then there were some ones that were mean about it, and I had friends that wanted to pick up for me, and it never got to that point where we had to fight with anybody, but I appreciated that backup, you know. But then I grew 6 inches my junior year. It's a tad bit late, or I could have been a star fucking middle linebacker. But I grew 6 inches my junior year, and I was pretty much over with sports at that time. But I played men's softball, shit calls 37, 38 maybe. And I wasn't too bad. Just to show you, I was a pretty good athlete going into high school, but my size, I took all my confidence away, especially when I saw the big people. And that's something I fought with all my life, was confidence, big time. Um, I was kind of shy, you know. I had some luck with women, but it wasn't because I was confident about it. I mean, I wouldn't say I was even the one that hit on women. I was kind of what sat back because I didn't look at myself as somebody that was anything special, right? Um, very, very insecure. But having the friends I had and alcohol, I was a very outgoing kind of, you know, wanted to be the center of attention at the parties or just be, I like to have fun. Like I made people laugh. That was the thing that really kind of helped me get to be a little bit popular. My friends were funny too, so we were all funny. We busted each other's balls left and right. You know, it was fun. I even went through a stage where I was like, for some reason, I was clumsy. Like I went through after high school, I was just clumsy. Trip over some where I remember one time jumping out of my car to run in the house, get something. I had a carload of people and I straight went down, but I just kind of did an army roll, kind of right back up on my feet. And I'm like, it's that. Got back to the car and they're rolling, they're all laughing in the car. So I went through that stage too. And then here's a thing that I forgot to talk about. It didn't affect me, but it was always something I kind of thought about, you know. I was pregnant when I was eating about it. I wasn't mad about it. I was kind of somewhat relieved, because I wasn't ready to pay child support or be a dad yet, you know. And that's why I've always kind of been, I teeter about it, but I'm more now against it only because I'm more educated about it, and I'm more into my faith, and I have my feels, but I do believe that there's a couple instances that maybe it needs to be done, rape maybe, but I think it can be avoided. But we won't get into that right now. That's a whole nother story. But at the time, I was like, I didn't really care when I was a Democrat. I told you guys I was a Democrat for most of my life, only because I was a union man and I was told to be. I didn't like all the policies from either side, but I was so miseducated on what Republicans were about. I really was. I used to tell people, my sisters, like, oh, they're just for the rich people. Well, both parties are for the rich people. But that's what they do. But you know, Democrats were supposedly, the unions were supported by Democrat Party, and I'm like, nah, I figured that out. Let's just be clear. I'm not going to get into it right now, but then neither party's for any of us. I mean, there's pretty much one man that's tried to help save us, and then there's a few good men that were trying to do their job properly, but there were so many people corrupt that it was both sides. It was really just a big debacle, and we're all fools for how long we listened and believed everything. But hopefully by the time you guys see this, maybe we're in pretty good shape by now. This might take me maybe even a couple weeks. I don't know. I'll be able to finish all one day, but I moved on. So I partied all my life. I mean, all my 20s, and I had a lot of fun in my 20s. Broke some hearts, got my heart broken. Drugs, stupid shit. Mostly just pot though, was a big huge druggie, but like I was convinced I was never getting married. I was doomed, right? I didn't think I could just be with one woman. I know that sounds terrible, but I was one of those people. I didn't think it was the right fit. I would get out quick. I wouldn't drag it on, and then someone gets hurt worse, but I was still kind of known because I did it for the right reasons, but it made me look like I was kind of a dog. But I just didn't want I didn't want to get somebody hurt by staying in it a few months or something, and then breaking up. So I would, I kind of I had a good idea what if it was a fit or not a fit within a few weeks. Anyway, so then I was like, I'm married. I've always wanted a wife, kids. I always wanted to be married. And lo and behold, I met my ex-wife, and this is, I want to get all sappy because we get along like I always will have a little love for her. I mean, I love her kids. She had 2 kids, right? I still to this day I love and adore. And we just didn't get along again, right? We had some problems, and that'll come in, and I'll explain more about that later. But so I met her, and I remember my best friend saying to me, "That's the one," because I think even my friends were all rooting for me. Like I couldn't find anybody. Most of my friends were married. As a matter of fact, I was at a bar after a wedding reception, and so kind of fate in a way, because she was there, and she was actually going through her own divorce. She was separated, and she was kind of down on kind of working and going to school and take care of kids. And she moved, was living next door to her sister. Her sister drug her out that night, made her come out with her. Didn't know either one of them then, but she wouldn't have been there normally. And then she hit on me. She kicked me in the butt. And then I remember sitting there going, that was probably an accident. So I didn't say nothing. And then it happened again. I'm like, no, ain't no way that was another accident. So I moved in, started chatting with her, and then told me she had a fake name. She told me her name was Lisa, and it wasn't Lisa. She was already playing defense on me. And then she was leaving. I wasn't talking to her very long, and then gave me her number. At least it was the right number. But then she kept rejecting me. And she's like, I'm just so busy. I can't go. I got kids and blah, blah, blah. That's why I always loved her sister, because her sister told her to go have a drink with me. And then I just put the charm on, man. Next thing you know, second date, she invited me over for chicken. So then that's when I met my first daughter, I call her my stepdaughter. She was 3. And she was such a cute little thing. I kind of fell in love with her too. Like it was like she was just adorable. I remember buying her a damn water baby, brought it the next day. Now the boy was a different story. He didn't like me at first. He was all about his dad, right? He was 10. And but it didn't take long. He ended up liking me. He's to this day he calls me Pops. Good kid. And they're good kids. Now they each have 2 kids of their own. But so yeah, I got married, had a great marriage for the most part. I mean, we had a lot of people always told us they always kind of envied us. Like people were like, you guys are so great, man, you're the perfect couple, blah, blah, blah. So we had a good marriage. That's because I'm fucking such a nice guy though. I have a lot of tolerance. I really do. It goes back to my being younger when I was like, I kind of just everybody's asses. I just want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to like me, and being that I got, injured and picked on so much that I felt like I had to keep friends, and they wasn't when I was a loyal son of a bitch. That's one thing I was. That's all my friends, that's all my friends and my mom, that's all it was, they were my dad died when I was 23. That was what I was going to get to next. Me and my dad didn't have much of a relationship at all. He meant well. He provided well for us. He was in real estate, but he 46 and my mom was 40 when they had me. And he was never home. He was always out working or drinking. And then I think he only came to one of my baseball games, like half of it. He shows up late. And it was so funny because he comes rolling down in his big old caddy, those big boats they used to have. And it was almost like it was one of those aha moments of, okay, like people were shocked because he was showing up. Not people, but like other people, players in my team. But oh my God, he's here. He's showing up for the game. And it really wasn't a big deal, but he did show up for half of my game. But he was a star quarterback for his high school team. It was 8-man football, but he went to the military. First, he was a lieutenant, 3 more, and my flag is up, you can see it up there. But he would try to teach me all kinds of shit. I was too dumb. Like, I don't want to care. I don't want to hear about it. And then it's funny because I moved out at 19, and then me and him would talk when I would go over there. My mom did my laundry for a while. I would take it there like, I don't know, Wednesdays. I'd pick it up on Friday or something, so we'd sit and bullshit, and I started to appreciate his intelligence. He used to tell me he had such a high IQ that's why he didn't have wisdom teeth. Never got wisdom teeth ever. He was on the higher scale of evolution. Yeah. So yeah, he died. I got home from a softball game one night. Got a call from my mom about 9:30. Dad's dead. That's exactly how she said it. And I was like, what? Like it was just so dark the way she said it. Your dad's dead. Had a heart attack and is lazy boy. And so of course I were there and my poor sister and her husband were in England on vacation. They had to come home. And yeah, it was kind of weird because I didn't even cry. Like it was like I was almost like I didn't really care that much. You know what I mean? I didn't think I did. And lo and behold, like all the way up until the funeral, I never cried. I felt kind of guilty, like, why am I not crying? Like, and then at the gravesite, they started to lower him into the hole. Yeah, that got me. I was bawling like a baby. Like the whole, it gets my breath kind of crying. Of course, my friends are all hugging me and shit. Like, finally, it was finally final. That's kind of what they say. It's kind of like that's the final thing. And I tell you what, I didn't miss him. Really didn't. Until I had a kid, or until I got married, actually. And then all kinds of different reasons of, like I said, like I could have used them for this, I could use this advice. So leaned on my friends anymore because I didn't have that. I didn't have a dad. So um, I've always said this. I think every man should have a brother or a dad, somebody they can lean on, somebody they can tell them when they're fucking up. Somebody can tell them they're doing a great job, or just basically make them accountable, or also give their approval. I think every man sometimes needs an approval. They need that. Am I doing okay? Am I doing right? We can think we're doing right all we want, but that doesn't mean we are. Or we can think we're not doing good and we're doing all right. You don't have any male figure to judge that or give you that approval or that kick in the ass. No, you get your ass get shit right, And so that was like kind of leaning on my friends. But friends are not that. That's not them. But that was what I did. I leaned on my friends. But boy, when I finally got married, I had my ready-made family for 2 kids. I loved kids and I was happy, and I had to have my own. And at first she wasn't going to give me one. She's like, I'm done. I don't want to have no more kids. And I would joke around about it. Like, I have my own. Who's going to visit me in the rent old people's home and shit like that, And he's like, my kids will do it. And I said, I got to have my own kid. And so I think after some joking for a while, I finally said to her, you guys are going to say this is probably bad, but I don't even know what I meant, but this was just my way of telling her I need to have a kid. I said to her, all right, listen, I'm having a kid with you or without you. So make up your mind what you're going to do. I'm having a kid of my own. What's that mean? I go, I really don't know yet. I said, I just know I'm having a kid somewhere. I'd go have somebody carry my kid or something. I don't know. She finally gave in. And it's kind of perfect because that made all the kids 7 years apart. Perfect for babysitting. And she had tubular pregnancy the first time. That topic, she was in bad shape. I remember getting a call work and I had flew home. She was in so much pain laying on the floor. That's the first sign I really can remember really of pure adrenaline. She wasn't a big woman, but she was, she was pregnant or thicker because she'd been kind of pregnant she thought for a little bit. But anyway, I picked her up off the floor and she couldn't move. So I carried her out to the truck. 140 pounds or 50 pounds. How do you need you to do from the ground up though? Not a body anyway. So I carried her to the car and we went to the hospital and they said she could have almost died because it could have exploded inside. So anyway, that happened and she was down. We were pretty down, and then we tried again in fucking months. It became a job, man. And we went and got we were going to get on maternity or whatever, talking about shit that help you have a baby. And we were literally about a week from getting that stuff, and she got pregnant. The next thing you know, she was waking me up in the middle of the morning, middle of the night. I'm pregnant. I'm like, okay. I rolled back over. She said, your ass better get up. So I got up, and it was great. And my little daughter was born, and I was the happiest person in the world. And at the time, I was perfect because I was working construction at my job. I worked for the city, and I would get laid off in the winter. She was born at the end of August. My oldest sister took a couple weeks off and stayed with my daughter for 2 weeks after my ex had 6 weeks off, and so we had a 2-week gap there where I wasn't laid off yet. So that's when my sister took over for 2 weeks, and then when I was laid off, I had her. So I was jumped right into fatherhood right away, And I can tell you what, I was pretty much a natural, except for I got to tell you, those diapers are fucking horrible. I should have videotaped every single one I freaking did. Every time I did it, because I did a lot. The whole gagging thing. I think that's some of the funniest shit. You ever watched one of those like a video of guys changing babies' diapers? They all gag. I can't take it. Women are always tougher for that. But anyway, so I had my baby. Then I got hurt at work about 5 years later. And had to have back surgery. And so they give me pain pills, shoot me up in the back with shots. And I had shoulder surgery a few years prior to that, but that wasn't serious. But the pain pills got me. So I was on pain pills for a year before all you employers who think you're going to just milk people to see if they're lying, you cause yourself more money and more wasted time. You should just get the fucking MRI, find out for sure, and then either it's good or not. But to try to break them and make them suffer through light duty and all this other bullshit, see if they're making it, and you find out they're not making it. That was dumb. So then I finally got surgery, and how it was rough. Boy, that was rough times, bad pain. And I even cried in front of my daughter in the hospital right after surgery. And I woke up and I just moved it just a smidge, and it was like, and like it was a true cry from pain, man. And my daughter's like, "Is Daddy gonna die?" 5, you know, she's scared. And so they had the surgery, and I wasn't completely 100%, but I was better. I got rid of the leg pain. That was the problem. That was the problem. The sciatic nerve was bad. And so I'm trying to get through this real quick. So had the back surgery, got addicted to pain pills, but I lived normal. You know, I was doing normal. You know, I was still functioning, going to work every day, and I had a mowing business. I mean, the pills helped me, like give me energy, and I definitely liked it too much. But eventually, yeah. So then the kids all came down with chicken pox. Literally, my daughter had chicken pox at like 5, right? I don't remember, something like that. And my stepson got it first, and he got it real mild. Or no, he got it really bad. And then my stepdaughter got it, kind of got it bad. Then my daughter got it. My little youngster, she got nothing hard, you know? So that cleared up. And literally, about a year later, 2 years later, she got shingles. And oh boy, she screamed bloody murder how bad it hurt. And I remember having to go get pain medicine at the pharmacy at like 9:30 at night. She was in so much misery. So that chicken pox is for birds, dude. I got some of my own ill feelings about that. Anyway, so like normal, you know, kids doing great, playing sports. I coached my daughter's sports teams, especially basketball. And I remember coaching, and I still coached with my fucking back brace after surgery. But I had pain pills. It didn't matter. And that was a rough time, very rough. And but I sure enjoyed those kids. And then time got a little bit rough. We one day, about 5 years after I was on the field, I finally came home one day. Well, mind you, my ex, she never did any type of drugs. She was just very, but she liked to take one when she had the cramps. And then she ended up cracking her tailbone, and she got her own prescriptions. That's not good. So we both were on them. And then I finally come home one day from work and say, I got to get off these. He goes, oh my God, thank God I need you to. So we had to take turns, and that was the end of all that ruined me. It was the worst experience, I think, even worse than the back surgery, getting off those pills, but I did it. And then she did it. I give her credit. But we were there, and but I had to take care of her, and I was still kind of sick. And then she took care of me. She was sober, but she called the doctor, hospital. She was scared. Thought was something wrong with me, or I was going to die or something. They just said, no, he'll be okay. He's just going to have to suck it. He's going to hurt a while. And anybody that's ever had to go through that, man, a hot bath, and if you can do it with a jet tub, it's even better. For that half hour you sitting there, then maybe a half hour you have to get out. About the only hour of the day that I felt halfway decent. It gives you insomnia. That's horrible. So, long story short, we never could get our happiness back it blocked the chemicals in our brain, serotonin, dopamine, and we just never were happy. We were depressed. And I drank before, but became a drunk because I was masking my depression. And she would sleep. Bottom line is we weren't having sex. We weren't talking much. We really didn't get along. We were just bickering and fighting. And then there were some big fights. And then it got really heated. And I was guilty of, I guess I was in some infidelity. It's hard for me to kind of take it this way, but I know it's just as bad. But I had talked to a couple people online. I was lonely, man. I ain't gonna lie. And I'm not saying that's an excuse, but she knew, and so I was like, never did physically cheat on her, but I did, I guess you could say, I'm emotionally cheat. So that's I'm guilty of that, I'll admit. But I never could go through with it though. That was the whole thing. That's why I didn't feel like I was cheating, because I never could follow through. I never went and actually physically cheated, but I was able to admit that I was wrong. So I'm gonna admit it again. But I wouldn't have normally. We were in a bad way. We were really bad. I was looking for things to give me joy, and she just slept hers off. And long story short, we was in therapy and turned my therapist against me. And I was still drinking. I was drinking like a fireball. It was terrible. And finally got divorced. It was not good. It was not good. Let's just put it this way. It was nasty. It was a nasty divorce. And it's too bad it had to end that way, because we had a really great marriage. But sometimes people are vengeful. I'll just leave it at that. But so after that, we had to separate. We went to different houses and blah, blah, blah. And then I had a midlife crisis and I bought a motorcycle. I had to have a Harley because everybody I worked with had Harley. They was like, you got to get one, you got to get one. So I got a Harley. I bought it in May. First day I bought it, dumbass wore shorts to go pick it up in the first place. I was dumb. I burnt my freaking cap on the fucking muffler. Bad. It's like melted my skin. That was a good sign right there. I probably shouldn't have bought one. And it was a nice bike though. Road glide, but our street glide. But eventually October, I was drinking like a dumbass on the bike. But when it was November, it was October, but it was like really warm. It was like 80 degrees and everybody was like taking their bikes out. So I got to take mine out. Got to fucking fit in, right? And I remember going home that night and then a couple of people asking if I needed a ride. I'm like, I'm not leaving my motorcycle overnight. No way. The hell, that was to this day. That's why I took myself out by the curb, just not paying attention, and I got launched. I got hurt, but I'm gonna try to make it funny here. So, so the cops show up instantly. I tried to get up, pick up my bike. I couldn't pick it up. And the cops were there instantly. If it would have been one of those fender benders, we'd have called, and it took 2 hours to get there. But they show up right away instantly. Wilmer Valderrama. I don't know if you remember the guy from the '70s show. That's what the cop looked like. And asked me if I've been drinking. I'm like, yeah, I had a couple. Can you blow? Nope. So I refused. I knew I had to get sober. I was thinking of my CDL license. So they made me do the sobriety test. But guess what? Daddy passed that bad boy. Because of one thing, and you'll know in a minute. Then they tried to get me blow again. I said, nope. So then I guess I refused medical attention. I don't remember that. And the only reason I found that out was because I went on a date one night and I took an Uber, and the Uber driver was one of the paramedics that was there that night. But I found out later they should have made me go to the hospital, because here's the deal. I had a bald spot on the back of my head, like I'd been scalped by an Indian. Literally bald. You could just feel it back there. My knee had a hole in it that took 6 months to heal. So I had blood, and obvious head injuries and 7 broken ribs, a collapsed lung, and broke car. That's still, I got a plate there holding it together. mean, it's healed probably now. I get taken out, but it hurts like fuck. And a broken shoulder blade. Scalpel. I didn't even know you could break a shoulder blade, I guess. But and then 3 broken toes. Forgot about that one. Because I was in a hurry and dumbass wore Chuck Taylors instead of my riding boots. And I was rough, man. 7 broken ribs were pretty bad too. And 3 days in the hospital. And lo and behold, I knew the writing was on the wall. I was on FMLA for 3 months, luckily, but they didn't give me that 4th month. That's when I knew. It's January 18th, I got fired. My 20-year job, my retirement, everything. So I was in a bad way. No license. I had some insurance money, a little bit of savings, not much, but it was a bad time. Luckily, my truck. But anyway, I got through that, and then so I was at the police station. It's a funny story. So I'm literally not even knowing I'm in pain. I was about an hour on the street, and then they took me to the police station. They couldn't take me to jail because I passed the field sobriety test and I refused to blow. They took me to the police station, kept trying to get me to blow. I ain't fucking doing it. And then all of a sudden, like a freaking ton of bricks, my whole body started hurting. Like, what? And I said to that cop, I say, man, I think I need to go to the hospital. I'm hurt. He goes, what? I go, I'm hurting, dude. I think I got to go to the hospital. My whole body hurts. You were fine out there on the street. What's wrong with you now? I go, I ain't fucking fine now. I yelled at him. Take me to the fucking hospital. And found out later the fucking adrenaline and shock wore off finally. That's crazy how that adrenaline works. I had no idea I was hurt. And that's why I passed my field sobriety test. I was in a feel of pain. And I felt sober. I think it sobered me up or something. And but then we argued over which hospital to go to. Like, and so they took me to the state hospital or county hospital, whatever, which that's where people that go without insurance and shit. Well, I had insurance, but if you're in police custody, you have to go to this one. So they take me there, they do all these x-rays. Then they end up ambulancing me back to the hospital I wanted to go to in the first place, to the trauma unit, my collapsed lung. And so I get out of the hospital, like, my mom comes and gets me, my rock. His head gets me out of places, but I eventually went back to work, or eventually had my 3 months was up. So I got the call going for what they call a PDH, pre-disciplinary hearing. And it was a joke because they just started ragging on me, man. But the reason they fired me was for the OWI. The real reason was because of my injuries. That's what's wrong with fucking employers. They straight said it like a couple of years before that they weren't going to keep people around that were injured and are on work comp or all that shit. Well, the guy that was the boss before, he died of cancer, but he probably kept 12 to 15 guys that had OWIs during my time there. Just demoted them to a labor until they got their CDL back, gave their job back. He didn't do that. They wanted to get rid of me because of my back injury. And now I said I was so mad that they're just throwing me into the gutter. They don't care if my daughter's fucking homeless or nothing. They want to fucking. That's government people for you, government jobs, right? Give 2 bucks about you. Yeah, I'm all honestly, I wish the director would get hit by a fucking snowplow. That's how much I fucking hate them people. Sorry, but I do. They didn't have a heart in their fucking mind. And then they started ragging on me about the body camera that I lied on. I lied to the police and shit. I finally just said, are you fucking gonna fire me or what? Because this is fucking irrelevant. What does this even matter? You're just gonna try to braid me and make fun, so they told me that they were gonna. I was being I don't even know the word they use, the fancy words they use for fire. But anyway, terminated. Yeah, so there goes that. My career's over, man. My retirement job's gone. And but that was a hell of an experience. Yeah, look at the bright side, right? Because good things came after that. But what happened right after that? I was sitting at home and I'm yelling at God, why am I here? Why did you keep me? I'm crying. I'm sorry for myself. What am I here for? I almost felt like killing myself, right? But I would have. I've never would have done that because I could have done that to my daughter. But I was pretty bad. It was a bad way. And my life was over. So I remember that night I went to bed and I fell to my knees. I fell to my knees and I was bawling again like a baby. And I was begging for his mercy. I was begging for his mercy and apologizing. I was going to do better. And I've been trying. Um, so anyway, I gave myself to him basically. And he started working for me. What do you know? I told my sister, and my sister's like, that's God. Because little things started going my way. First off, I go to court. This is pretty cool. Because usually when you refuse, it's like an automatic year, you lose your license. Well, I figured out, I think they didn't have my blood because they didn't have my breath on it. I figured they had my blood. Prove I was drunk. I don't think they got my blood. So I think I probably could have got off, but we were going to fight it anyway. My lawyer said, we're going to say you couldn't breathe. That's why you refused to blow because your broken ribs and your collapsed lung. I'm like, fucking love it. Well, we passed all the preliminaries and then we went to court. It was February. And I walk into the courthouse talking to my lawyer goes, hey, you know that whole thing, you couldn't breathe? And I go, yeah. I go, it ain't gonna fucking fly. That's exactly what he said. I go, why? And he says, well, the body camera's gonna fuck you. He said, you look completely sober, talking, walking like you're perfectly fine in the body cameras. Like, told you I passed the field sobriety test. And and so he said, they want to give you 20 days in jail and blah, blah, blah. They ain't going to fucking jail. It's the only time I've ever done it. Never been to jail, really. And he comes back out. He's like, they're going to take the jail off the table. Plea bargain. They're going to give you he started off, he goes, they're going to go ahead and let you have your license retro to, I think it was 10 days prior to where we're at. And I'm like, what? You get my license back now? I'll take it. That's all I can think of. That's the worst part of an OWI or DWI. People call it different places, but I think they did that because they knew that they fucked up. Why would they give me such a good plea? They could have screwed me, right? I didn't care. I had my license. I could at least drive again. But finding a job wasn't so easy with not being a truck driver and kind of a, labor worker my whole life. So I was I was in the dumps, man. I remember just listening to music. Music is the only thing that got me through that time. 6 months I was off work. And music, man. I found out how many songs Tim McGraw has. I listened, I don't know why I listened to him so much, but country's a bitch, man. That shit's good stuff, man. When you're in the dumps, you can find a song for everything. So I applied for a bunch of different places and then I started applying at dealerships. I thought I could sell cars. I know people. And I kept getting rejected. They had to have had a 3-year clean driving. So then all of a sudden I get this call from this other company and they want to interview me. So I go another dealership and I shit you not, they interviewed with 3 sales managers and they said they wanted to hire me. I go, whoa, hold on. I got to tell you something. I got my license back, but I had an OWI. So I've got some SR22. They're like, oh, fuck, that's okay. We got 2 other guys that can't drive either. I said, okay, sweet. So they were desperate for salespeople. The other two guys, one of them had an OWI, and the other one just had too many tickets. So they didn't want them. So that what they did is they wouldn't let us drive the cars off the lot, which sucked because there were so many times that I was held up because nobody could drive for me. But I was struggling, learning shit, learning the script and all that stuff. And then they threw me to the wolves one day. I sold my first car, first one in Tide. I didn't make money already. And next thing you know, man, 4 months in, number two salesman. And that was with them fucking me over. So what, you know, I mean, they give me deals or not give me deals or give somebody else a deal, not me. It was crazy. Well, I don't like the business, but so for 2 years I was kicking ass, making good money, more money than I'd ever made. I was rock star, looking all sweet, dressed up, all pimped out, and I had a falling out with them. I can't really talk about it. We're in silence. But I went to another dealership. They weren't very nice. They didn't like me for whatever reason. I think they thought because this girl that was a finance manager, she helped me get the job because she helped me with my past job. Long story, but I think they thought that she must have clubbed me up too much or something. And I hate when people do that. You never know. You're only as good as the last place. You know, you can't really predict what's going to happen. So I was there 2 months, then COVID hit. But in that 2 months, that I asked them, they started laying people off, and they wouldn't lay me off. They laid all the people in the office off, and all the mechanics were off because we're 100% commission. They would lay us off, but everybody and their mothers being laid off, but we were working. And my mom wasn't doing it. And so I asked them if if they would let me be on a, just lay me off for a couple weeks, 3 weeks, so I could go kind of help my mom. They wouldn't do it. And so there's a little turmoil there. But then I had a customer come back one morning. And so I'm out working with my customer. And I had to set it up so he could take the car home, show his wife, and blah, blah, blah. And so I was a couple minutes late to the sales meeting, literally 2 minutes. I walk in, and mind you, that fucking meeting was in a whole other building. So I hurried up, got over there. I walk in, and this 30-year-old punk, he's a punk. He got big power, so he's a punk, but he's 30, he's talking shit, like 50. But I walk in, and he goes, "Get the fuck out of my fucking meeting." I know, man. Sorry, I was the customer. He goes, "No." I said, "Get the fuck out." He said it twice. Really fucking present. Wow. All right. I went straight to my desk, packed my shit, I fucking get ready. And I sat around waiting, thinking maybe he'll come back in. And we could talk, right? He come back in, and then he went straight to his fucking stepdad's or fucking whatever the fuck he is, stepdad or father-in-law or something office, and didn't even say nothing to me. I jumped in my car and drove home. And then he calls me. I was a half hour. I drove about a 45-minute drive to work. This new place. So I was about fucking 10 minutes from home, and he calls me. "Where'd you go?" "You fucking let me go. You fired me." That's what I said. "You fired me. You told me to get the fuck out." "No, I didn't." That's how I look at it. Or a hostile work environment. I'm out. So you're abandoning your position. I go, "The fuck? I never heard that before." You left, so you abandoned your job. So that's like quitting. I go, no, you fired me." That was a fight. And then he wanted me to come back and talk. I said, "No, I'm not talking. I'm not. We can talk right now. I'm done." And so we ended it there, and I filed for unemployment. He fucking fought it. All this happened right when COVID started too. So all these people were getting unemployment. And I'm thinking I'm going to get it because I considered he fired me. So I thought I had this case won. And all it come down to is that fucking judge said, because he could prove that we had a 9-minute phone call, and that he wanted me to come back and talk about it. That's all it took. And so I fucking lost. But that screwed me. Because then they wouldn't give me unemployment for the pandemic. Everybody else, self-employed people were getting fucking unemployment. And so they wouldn't give it to me. So I was bitter, dude. I mean, and then my mom, "That's going to take a while." Mom died, and we'll get into that here in a second.